It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie that's actually good. What are the odds? There have been so many of these. You know how many there have been? I totally forgot that you and I reviewed a couple of them on What the Flick.
Yeah, no, there was, I barely remember those movies, but there was that second set, and I don't even think I saw the second one. I think I just saw the first one. It was okay. And I heard the second one was better, but nobody went.
Right. There's no Megan Fox in these movies. Anyway, this one is animated. So we've got a review for you of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. If you have not yet subscribed, it'd be awesome if you did, because we do all the highfalutin artsy stuff like Oppenheimer, but we also do things like Ninja Turtle movies. We contain multitudes here. We'd love to have you join us. Alonso, please tell us about this movie.
Turtle Mutant Karate Teens. I want to know everything about you.
Our dad is definitely not a giant rat.
So yeah, this is an animated adventure, and so we are rebooting. We are starting from scratch. We are going all the way back to the ooze and the creation of the Ninja Turtles, as well as the other mutants in the same menagerie. Teen actors with credits, but none of them are household names yet, voiced the Turtles, and it's the first time that actual teenagers play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they're very funny and have a nice comic rapport. Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen are among the team of writers here, and Rogen also voices Bebop, with John Cena as Rocksteady. Jackie Chan is Master Splinter. Ice Cube is the big bad here, and April O'Neil is now a plucky high school student voiced by our favorite Ayo Edebiri.
It's Summer of Ayo Edebiri, is it not? Between this and The Bear and Theater Camp?
I was saying that it's also the summer of Sherry Cola between Joyride and the upcoming Shortcomings, but they can both share the summer. Also,
Ayo Edebiri is in Bottoms.
That's true. Okay,
coming out in a few
maybe
weeks.
Ayo Edebiri gets takes the summer on that alone. April is trying to get a journalistic scoop. She meets the Turtles and helps them in their quest to save all of New York City from being turned into a mass of mutant monsters. And yeah, this is actually pretty fun. It is funny. It is a quippy movie, while also being about adolescent angst and martial arts adventures. It works more than it doesn't. There were moments in the movie where I thought, are we not done yet? Like I literally, there's literally one moment where I thought, okay, we're wrapping this up. Oh no, there's a whole other act to go, isn't there? Okay, fine. And then there were still some fun things happening within that. So okay, sure, fine. Why not?
Were you not carried along by the energy the whole time, though?
Not entirely, no. I'm kind of like you seeing Barbie the first time, where I was like, this is dragging a little in the middle, but then it picks up again.
Okay.
But, this is very much a post Spider-Verse kind of animated film. They're mixing together a lot of different visual styles, and they aren't necessarily making it cute or photorealistic per se. They're kind of going in their own sort of interestingly grungy way, which is true to the roots of these characters. They were birthed in these indie black and white comics back in the day. Maybe it's not as great as the Spider-Verse movies, but it is certainly better than we might expect from the third go round of movie adaptations of the Ninja Turtles property.
Oh, completely. Yeah. I went into this without great expectations at all, even though I've really liked a lot of what Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg have done. Love Superbad. Just went back and showed that to Nick recently.
Didn't like Sausage Party, though, which is their previous animated effort.
You did not like Sausage Party?
I did not, no.
I didn't either. It felt like it was trying too hard to be
outrageous,
naughty, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is just that sweet spot in the tone. And I think a lot of it has to do with, as you say, the fact that the Turtles are voiced by actual teenagers. Mm-hmm. And they talk the way teenagers talk. I mean, there's so often it's like grown-ass people writing for teenagers without a whole lot of sense of how teenagers talk. So they end up saying things like, OMG, I'm totes taking a selfie, and it clangs because they're trying so hard to be hip and with it. And now, but the way these kids interact with each other felt so alive and true. Yeah. And there are
where they talk over each other.
Yeah. And just like an energy, like an awkward energy, but also just an enthusiasm for everything. And there's like just the right amount of pop culture references here. Like so often in a big animated movie, they're sprinkling them very heavily all throughout. And you, as you're hearing them, you're like, oh, this is going to be dated in about a week. And
there's a lot in this movie, and some of them are so of the moment. I was thinking this is going to be dated really quick,
you thought so?
actually. Yeah.
I thought it was just the right amount, and the 90s hip hop needle drops are all very fun. So
yes, music supervision is chef's kiss in this movie.
I enjoyed that too. Yeah, and I just had a really good time, and I laughed the whole way through, and I cared about their quest. It's sort of like the Little Mermaid. They want to be part of that world, you know, and I wanted them to get there. I like that they've made April O'Neil a young teenage journalist, and the way that you see her evolution in that field is very entertaining and kind of inspiring and sweet, and they have a nice chemistry.
And she's a peer now with them, I think, which is the smart thing here.
As opposed to being Megan Fox.
Well, I think it's supposed to be older in general, but yes, that too, I guess.
Yeah, you mentioned the Spider-Verse comparison in terms of the animation style. And I've seen that a lot too, but I do think this is distinct in its own way in that the rough-hewn nature of it, the fact that it looks intentionally unfinished. And raw is very exciting. Like sometimes you can see like actual scribbles, you know, like a variation in like you know, like when you press down on something and it's a pencil and maybe you didn't write the whole way with the same intensity and there's like deviations.
Shadings, yes.
Yeah, like there's that all over the place. Like a kid was scrawling it on the back of a notebook sometimes. and there's like an energy that comes off of, you know, a lamppost or a billboard in Times Square or whatever. And all of that I think gives it a really fun energy. But I do think that they are similar in that the vibe of the city, the way they use Manhattan and they use the lighting and the bustle of the sidewalks and the leaping from building to building, like that all feels similar to Spider-Verse for me too. And the fact that it is like a teenager, you know, in over his head, in over their heads in terms of trying to take on the big bad villains. And the whole, like, what happens with the villain is so outlandish that you can't help but just laugh at, like, the attention to detail, but also just the wildness of it. Jeff Rowe, who co-directed this, also worked on Mitchell versus the Machines. And this feels like it carries a lot of the same DNA in terms of like
I can see
the weirdness, like, as you said, like they're not trying to be photorealistic at all, and the extreme nature of the places they go with that inspiration is very exciting and constantly alive and evolving. So, and
that again, the sort of like awkward adolescent energy in the middle of this sort of like world shaking, you know, thing, kind of like the stakes are there, but we're able to approach them in a way that's like, how would a gawky 16-year-old handle this, you know?
And yet they're smarter than they seem, right?
Absolutely.
Like I think we think of the Ninja Turtles as like they're doofuses, and you see all the goofy stuff they're doing when they're like playing around on the rooftop.
They do machines, Christy.
It's just so fun to see, like, they take the same energy to like throw a ninja star at a watermelon. They take that same kind of like focus and excitement to things that maybe actually matter. So I had a really good time. I brought Nick and one of his best friends, and we all just laughed the whole way through, and it was a really nice surprise. And my theater was like sold out, and it was kids and adults alike, and it worked for everyone. So I think if you are an old school Ninja Turtle person and you have certain standards that you want this to uphold, I think you're going to enjoy yourself.
There is no vanilla ice in this movie, just so you know.
Sadly, no vanilla ice. Instead, you get like De La Soul and A Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, so... I didn't say sadly. You did.
No. It's okay. So what's your number then?
I'd say a 7.1. I think it is solidly entertaining, but I just, you know, I think there was a moment where I was like, oh, we're not done yet. I thought maybe we were done, but it's, you know, but it rallied back, and I was, you know, having a good time. But yeah, it's very funny. There's a fun sort of deep bench voice cast with people like Rose Byrne and Hannibal Buress, but it doesn't lean too heavily on the gimmick of that. They're just sort of there to, you know, make characters that don't get a ton of screen time pop a little more.
Yeah, I'll say 8.5. I had a really good time. Okay. Yeah. So Ninja Turtles, who knew? It's in theaters. Go see it.